Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate it. It's a beautiful Monday and we're getting some rain here in San Antonio, Texas. That's really different for us. We haven't had it in such a long time. We're so grateful for it. Man, so glad you're here. We have a fantastic show ready for you today called Purpose is the High-Octane Fuel. But before we go into that, I want to share a couple of things with you. For instance, I'd like to invite you to take advantage of the business assessment. Screen. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Uh, Man, I'm glad you guys are here with me today. Uh, just so you know who I am, my name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers like you make an excellent income doing what it is they love to do. Each week, you're going to get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. Oh, man. I'd like to invite you to do something else, too. I'd like to invite you to lunch. I take a photographer to lunch with me every single week, and I call it Lunch with Landers. And let me give you the link to that real quick. That's it on the screen, but I'm going to give it to you in the comment section. There we go. Paste that. All right, that should be showing up in the comment section right now. It's a link to Lunch with Landers. Now, I take a photographer to lunch every Tuesday, and the reason it's on Tuesday is because I've been having lunch with my Rotary Club friends on Tuesdays since 2002 at the Dominion Country Club. And Rotary is a lot of things. It's a service organization, but what you'll be seeing of it is just our weekly meeting. And that means we bring in a speaker that gets to share, we get to hear something that we wouldn't have otherwise known. So they're sharing something they're passionate about. It could be something that is city related. It could be something that is passion related. It could be a charity. It could be a book that someone's written. There's all different kinds of subjects, but it's a lot of fun to hear someone's point of view who you would never have had an opportunity to listen to before. So I'm inviting someone every week to come visit me and have fun doing that. But then afterwards, spend about half an hour to an hour if you have time to talk about you and what you do, what your goals are, and maybe we can do something to help you in that direction. That's Lunch with Landers, and hopefully you see that address to the link in the comment section. There it is, right there. All right, so I want you to share this with everybody. I want you to enter in #live. To let me know that you're here watching this live in the comment section right now. Enter in #live and click that share button. Let other people know about this. There's a lot of value in sharing. It helps us. It helps others. It uplifts the entire photography community when we share what it is that we know. This show and other things, of course. Because sharing is, you've heard it before, caring. All right. So share this with those who you know on your friends list. Before you leave a comment, you may have already left a comment. I know some of you did already. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name. And this is done by just clicking StreamYard.com or going to StreamYard.com/Facebook. This gives StreamYard permission to use your name and photograph. That way, when I see you, it will show your name instead of Facebook user, and I can address you by your name. So that's how you do that. StreamYard.com/Facebook. And that makes it where I can see who you are. By the way, we use this platform that's called StreamYard. You're seeing at the bottom of your screen right now. This causes us to be able to simulcast to multiple different locations. We currently simulcast this to 5 different Facebook pages. You're only on one of them, so you don't see the others. But it's on 5 different Facebook pages, and it is on 2 YouTube channels and 1 LinkedIn page. So you're watching us from one of those, and this program causes things to come together so that I can see as if it were on one platform. And so when you make a comment, I get to see it on this platform, assuming that you give StreamYard permission to use your name. Then I get to see it. All right. This evening, I want to invite you to something that is fun for photographers. I want you to dress up for this. If you're in San Antonio, Texas, if you're somewhere else, then you probably won't be able to come to this. But Elevate Exhibition is this evening, and there are several photographers that are exhibiting their work, their passion. And I'm inviting you to come as a guest to enjoy that, to visit with the artists and see the work that local San Antonio photographers have been creating throughout the year. And I want you to go to elevateexhibition.com for more information. And you see that on your screen right now, elevateexhibition.com. That is today, later today. So click on that right now, elevateexhibition.com. Let's get into today's topic. Purpose is our high-octane fuel. What do I mean by that? Well, when we're feeling sluggish or lost or unmotivated, it's no surprise that we've got a fuel problem. Yep, it could be a lot of other things. There's a lot of things that could cause it, but most of the time it's a fuel issue. And what that means is that it's solvable, which is fantastic. So let's talk about that. Now, I'm saying high-octane fuel because of cars, and when you have high-octane fuel in the car, it's more energy. Let's talk about why. And so, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, so I did a little research on this because I knew that high-octane fuel gave you more power, but I didn't know in what way. So I've got 2 different sources to share with you. This first one. Octane ratings are measures of fuel stability. These ratings are based on the pressure at which fuel will spontaneously combust, autoignite. The higher an octane number, the more stable the fuel. And I got another point of view from, and this one's going to sound odd, but I like the description. This one came from Kendall Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram. And they say high-performance vehicles produce an insane amount of power. The power comes from a number of engine parts that work together to make the engine work as fast as possible. And one engine component that contributes to the amount of power an engine produces is its fuel system. So octane basics. Octane rating is strictly measured, is strictly a measurement of fuel's combustibility. Fuels with higher octane ratings signify how readily combustible the fuel is. It's more compression the fuel can withstand before igniting. Higher octane fuels allow for higher compression ratio, which improves efficiency, power output, and overall reliability in high-performance engines. All right, there's a little bit of background to what high octane means. So now that we've explained what high octane is, let's talk about how your purpose is your personal high octane fuel. So one of the things we have to do is get moving quickly. You've heard this before, get out there, make things happen. But this has to be done with a sense of purpose, because let's say you were to go to, let's give an example that I give often. Photographers are fantastic, wonderful people. We are. We're creatives. We love people. We love sharing our work. We love creating our work. But we can easily be misdirected and never know it. Be completely unaware because it feels good. A lot of us creatives make our decisions based off of feelings. And sometimes that's okay, but we've also noticed that it gets in the way sometimes, and feelings cause us emotions cause us to make the wrong choices. And so when we are, the analogy I'm thinking of is we have this idea. We've seen something, an example of something, and we're jumping in on it because, wow, it sounds good. I can do this. And so we move forward with it. We do some research on it. It's something that we've seen before. Maybe a photographer has done it, and we're like, oh, I can do that too. I could probably do that even better. But we head in that direction, and it's exciting. So we do our research, and it feels like we're doing the right thing because we're doing research. We're doing the hard work, and we're making things happen. But that's not what defines success, guys. It has to be a focused effort with that, not a broad effort with that, because there's too many good things that you could do. You don't have time for all of them. You have time for the ones that are most important. But if we haven't defined what's most important yet, man, we're going to have a hard time. You know what? Before I go any further, if you could just blink, if you had that power, if you could just blink and have, I'll put this up on the screen. If you could blink your eyes and get exactly what you want out of your life, out of your business, what would it be? Put it in the comments and make it just like 1 or 2 words or a very short description. If you could blink your eyes and get exactly what you want for your life or your business, oftentimes they're one and the same, what would that be? Add that to the comments. Also, if you haven't done it already, let me know that you're here watching live. Enter in hashtag live or hashtag replay if you're watching this as a replay. Enter in hashtag live or hashtag replay. And then, if you had the power to blink and get whatever you want, what would it be? Put that in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking, where your mind is right now, where you're heading. I'm going to look at the... I'm going to do a couple of shout outs here. Hey, Wesley. And hey, Daryl. How are you doing? Glad you're here. Ashley is here. Hey, Ashley. Trey, good to see you. I'm going to comment a couple on, or put a couple of these up if you don't mind. So Daryl is saying a sustainable studio. Yep. A lot of my clients are saying something along those lines. Not everybody wants a physical studio. Some of them just want an office out of their house. Some want an office in their house. Some want a studio on their property. And then there's others who want a retail studio. Wesley says that he wants amazing clients. Oh, yeah. Don't we all? Now, I know something about Wesley with his he's got a full-time job and doing photography. With his full-time job, he probably doesn't have a lot of leeway on what kind of clients he does. He probably takes whoever comes his way. But with photography, it's completely different. We can absolutely choose who it is that we're working with, and only work with those people who bring us joy, who uplift us, who bring us energy. And we define ourselves first, and then we do our marketing so that we only attract those people who fit the description of ideal for us. That's part of the marketing process, part of your behind the scenes process. So you're eliminating those people who are not going to be beneficial to you and the goals that you have in your life. All right, back to this moving quickly. When starting something new, a new project, a new idea, You don't have to confirm that you're right. You don't have to be 100% complete. You don't even have to be as cautious as you probably think you need to be. What you must do is move quickly and act now. When you feel it's right, go with your gut feeling, make a choice, do your due diligence as quickly as you can, then do it now without hesitation. If you have time to second guess, then you've given yourself too much time. Too many talk themselves out of whatever it is they're thinking about with idea killing mistakes like it could backfire, it could go wrong, nobody will like it, I could lose money. All right, all those things are true. And all those things can happen even if you are the best planner and you've made all the right choices. Things can still go wrong. So let's not take a whole lot of time thinking about it. Move forward. Just go and make it happen and adjust as you grow. But with purpose, which we're going to get to here in just a moment. When you have a high-octane sense of purpose, your mind works differently. So much better than when you don't. So you use this to your advantage. You have a purpose in life that is to be energized. Waking up with purpose causes you to be ready to go when you wake up, often with no need for an alarm clock. I use my alarm clock all the time, but there's a lot of times where I don't have to. Purpose makes things seem worthwhile because they are. Because you've put the things in your path that are right, not just good. Your goal is not to put good things in your path. I know you feel that it is, but putting good things in your path could lead to a lot of extra work that you didn't have to do. Putting the right things in your path should be your goal. There's way too many good things. You're going to waste a lot of time. Back to that example of getting on the road that I started just a little while ago. We photographers have these ideas, and let's say that it was getting out on the road. Let's say that our ideas that we have for our photography business are now, this analogy is getting on the road, but not defining where you're going, because that's what we do. We haven't defined the end result. Where is it that we're heading? Where are we going? We define just little parts, the things that get us excited, which would be equivalent to getting out on the road and going, oh, that's a pretty road. I like that road. Man, I'm going to get on that road. Where's that road take you? I don't know, but it's a nice road. I like it. I mean, look at all the signs. The signs are the trees. I like the trees that are on the side of the other cars that are on the road. There's not a whole lot of them, and the cars that are there are nice. I'm going to go down that road. Guys, your excitement, your feelings are causing you to go down the wrong road. Even though it's a good road, it's not the right one for you. So we've got to define what right is. And we're going to be talking about how to define that today. Purpose makes things seem worthwhile because they are, because you have planned it, because you've put the right things in your path. You wake up happy. You wake up with a smile on your face. You have anticipation of what today is going to bring. Conversely, finding yourself without direction is what gives you feelings of being lost. And I'm going to put this quote up on your screen right now. There we go. And got to have the right thing on my screen. Here we go. All right. So conversely, finding yourself without direction is what gives you feelings of being lost or out of control, lacking in confidence, overwhelmed, tired. You know what I'm talking about. So if you're feeling any of those things today, or maybe you feel it often, there's a solution. And it's not to power through with sheer will. I'm not saying that doesn't work. I'm saying that's not sustainable. So it does work, but it takes a lot of fuel to make sheer willpower work. Besides, you're going to need a little bit of that even if you do have your destination, the place you're heading already defined. Of course, we all feel lost or out of control and other things that at times, even if you have a strong purpose, you're still feeling. But if these feelings, these lost, out of control, overwhelmed feelings are happening often, it's a sign that you need to make some change now. So let's talk about how to make change, to get out of that funk and make some changes right now, quickly. The first of three things that I want to bring up on this topic. The first is take inventory of the things you aspire to. If you haven't already, write down the things that you want out of this life. I'm calling it realistic idealism. And what that means to me is that it does no good to lament about things that are simply impossible. So define what your realistic ideal life looks like. I mentioned it before, but if you could blink and have what you want, your microcosm, your ideal microcosm, what would that be? And I want you to think about each major area of your life. I have 11, and I'm going to share them with you. If you have a notepad and pen, I want you to write these down. So these are the 11 major life goal categories. The first is family. Now, is this important to everyone? No, not all the things on my list are important to everyone. I'm just giving you an idea of what could be on your list. So if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. Don't write it down. If it applies to you, write it down and define what it means to you. So the first one is family. What does family mean to you if it's important? Does it mean having a home? Does it mean putting the kids through college? What does it mean? It's totally personal. I can't tell you what it means. I can only tell you that it's important to define it. Family. Number 2, career. What do you want? What is the ideal version of what you want? If you could blink your eyes and have exactly what you want for your career, what would it be? So Daryl, you may have already done this. You probably already have. But define what that studio is going to look like in detail. How large is it going to be? Not general things. It's going to be big. It's going to be big enough to have a car drive into it. I don't know what it is you want, but I want you to define it cleanly and clearly. So if someone were to read this, they'd be able to paint a picture in their mind. That's how clear this description needs to be about your career, whatever that means to you. Define it. Number 3, health. What's important to you about your health? Define it. Does that mean losing a few pounds? It doesn't have to. Maybe your doctor says it does, but I'm not telling you that. I love you just the way you are. So what does it mean, though? What does health mean? Ideal version. Something that is a realistic ideal version. What does it mean to you? Does it mean eating healthy? Does it mean working out? Does it mean going for a walk? What does it mean? Define it. What's the long-term result? Number 4, relationships. Now, family relationships is a relationship, of course. So this relationship is beyond the nuclear family. It could be with people who are extended family, but it also means those who are your friends. So relationships. For some of us, that may mean you want to send a happy birthday card every single time to every single one of your friends. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe it means you want to take someone out to eat, someone to lunch or to dinner once a month, once a week. Once a week is a lot. I do that, but you don't have to do that. So once a week is a lot. But maybe you want to do that every once in a while. But define it. It can't be, I'd like to take someone out to dinner every once in a while. It can't be vague. It's got to be specific. What's the ideal version look like? Ideal versions aren't vague. Ideal versions are specific. So that was number 4, relationships. Number 5, financial. Now you may have already thought, well, in the career, I already put something financial. Perfect. Financial stuff goes in career. But this financial is, back up a second. We love photography. We thoroughly enjoy it. It brings us joy and energy, assuming we do a good job of marketing, getting the right clients. But it still is just a tool to help you get what you want out of life. It's just an enjoyable tool. So this financial is, what do you want out of life? How are you going to be able to make that happen? But this could include a lot of different things. This could be a new home. This could be going on vacations regularly. This could be getting a car every 2-3 years. This could mean setting aside money for your retirement. This could be setting aside money to be able to give to family once you've passed. It's totally up to you, but define what ideal looks like. By the way, with all of these, take your realistic, the hyper-realistic out of it and make sure that it is still realistic idealism, but not hyper-realistic. In other words, take the, I can't do that, or I don't have enough money for that, or I don't have time for that. In your ideal version of you, you do have time for that. You do have money for that. This is the ideal, realistic ideal. So give you an example of what wouldn't be realistic. Maybe in several years we'll have colonies on Mars, but we don't have that as an option today. So therefore, if your goal was to be the first portrait photographer on the planet Mars, it's not really a realistic, idealistic goal. It is simply idealistic. So that's why I want you to have realism in this. All right. The next one is travel, having nothing to do with what I said previously about Mars. Travel. If you have this in your life, if you feel like I enjoy traveling, I want to get out and do this, define what that means. And maybe this is a bucket list of places you want to go. Maybe it's a road trip around the state you live in. Maybe it's to fly to X number of different countries and then define what those are. Whatever that means to you. And if it's not important, don't include it. But if it is, put it there. Travel. That was number 6. Number 7, social. This is similar to relationships, but relationships are more one-on-one. Social is more group-oriented. So if you want to be part of some organization, now I'm not really talking about charities and that kind of thing. I'll come to that here in just a little while. I'm talking about more on the social side. And maybe getting together with groups of friends, maybe forming a group of photographers who do things different, who do things completely different, or don't even do the same type of work you do, and having a sales or a leads meeting regularly. That actually goes more on the career side, but there's an idea for that. But social, what do you want to do socially? That if that's important, write it down. A lot of us creatives are not so much antisocial, but socially awkward. So therefore, we're not extroverted, although we sometimes come across that way. We're more on the introverted side. But maybe we have goals of becoming more extroverted, spending more time with people, becoming more comfortable with people. If that's important to you, write it down and make it specific. Number 8. This is big purchase items and small items. So this would be home, car, and stuff. Home, car, and stuff. What is it that you want to purchase? What do you want to have in your life? Is it a jet ski? To put on your yacht? Whatever it is, that's what I want you to write down. And be specific. You may think, well, I can't afford a yacht. I'm not going to put that there. You can't afford it now. That's fine. But in your idealistic version of yourself, maybe you can. So if that's something you'd like, write it down. Be specific with it. Number 9, out of 11. Number 9, contributions and charity. Now, I mentioned that earlier when I was talking about social. Contributions and charity. Now, what does contributions mean to you? That's what you write down. It may mean volunteering. It might not mean money. Maybe it does mean money to you. Whatever it means to you, if you feel this is important, contributions and charity. These could be different organizations that you believe in, that you want to do something to help out with. If that is important to you in your realistic ideal version of your life, then write down the different contributions and charities that you would like to support in your way. Maybe you'd like to create something yourself. This is where you write that down. Number 10, your hobbies. Play and rest. Now, I've come across several people that have that put travel in their rest category. And then those same people come back and say they need a vacation from for their vacations because they're tired when they come back. So this doesn't include travel. Maybe if it's something that's local that you can do, just a quick day trip. Okay, that could be under this category. But number 10 is hobbies, play, and rest. What do you enjoy doing? Man, there's a lot of photographers whose hobby is also photography. They do photography as their job, as their full-time income. They also have photography on the side where they go on walks or they hike or they travel to different places and do photography there too. That's not unusual for us. And some of you think, well, that's not a hobby if you do it for your business. Guys, if you love it, then you love it. Don't let anyone tell you it's not an appropriate hobby for you. Because it is. It's perfect. But maybe it's something else. Maybe you like woodworking. Whatever it is you like to do, if you feel it's important, write it down. That was number 10, hobbies, play, and rest. And, play could mean anything. It could mean, spending time with the dog, playing with the dog. And we have a husky named Gray who sometimes comes and visits me during the shows, but he's probably taking a nap right now. So that's hobbies, play, and rest. Number 11 of 11. Mental, emotional, and spiritual. These are things that you're spending time in your mind with. Kind of like on the health that I mentioned as number 3. These are things that deal inside of you, but specifically your mind. What is ideal for you? Maybe taking a class on something unusual, maybe a cooking class, maybe an art class. There's so many things that we could do that stimulate us mentally speaking. And so maybe that becomes a hobby, but maybe it's just a one-time thing. So mental, emotional, maybe you want to become more emotionally stable because a lot of us creatives can use some work in that area. So this may help with that. By the way, when you create a purpose, you do become more emotionally stable. Emotionally stable often comes from not knowing what to do next. So this helps, just by default. Spiritual, that just whatever you believe in. And that's personal. That's with you. If that means going to church, if that means reading the Bible, if that means reading the Quran, whatever it is that is important to you, if you feel it's important, this is where you write that down. But make the thing you're doing specific. Because I want to spend more time reading is not specific. It's not ideal. It's vague. And these have to be specific. So those were the 11 major life goal categories. By the way, is any of this that we're talking right now, does this make sense why this would be important? And if it does, if this is resonating with you, if you understand why doing this is important, or how this could benefit you, do me a favor in the comments right now, write in the word, just one word, yes. If any of this is making sense, just write down the one word, yes. It tells me that you're getting it, that this means something to you. Write that one word, yes. I'm going to take a look. Huh, that's interesting. I'm seeing some odd posts on here, so I just deleted them, I think. Or at very least, I blocked that person from being able to comment anymore. Hey, Lupe, I'm glad you're here. All right, so if what I'm sharing with you so far is resonating, I want you to enter in the comments the word yes. Now, the next thing we talked about. Oh, you know what? I didn't finish talking about that one. Yeah, I did. All right. So those were the 11 major categories. That is your realistic idealism. So the second thing I want to talk about is spending time with your timeline. Spending time with your timeline. Now, what the heck does that mean? All right. So now that you've defined what it is that you want out of this life, all the different things that are important to you, I call those the big rocks. Actually, I learned that from my wife, Robin. But those are the big rocks. Now we're going to put in where those rocks go in your life, the different little pieces and the parts of the things that you want out of life. What order do you want them in? And here's what I recommend. Do it via software, because there's software for this kind of thing. Or if you don't want to do that with software, then here's another way. Just put a piece of string up on your wall. Now, make this big, because you got a lot of stuff going on in your life. A lot of things that you want out of this life. But put this string on one with just a regular push pin on one side, another push pin on the other side, with a string connecting the two. And then take some Post-it notes and write down those things that you want out of this life on that Post-it note. And then you could do this with some kind of paper clip or something, or you can just fold that around on the string, and you can see how there's that in there. It might fall off, so you may not want to do that way, but I'm trying to get it where you're doing this as quick as possible. Write your goals down on this Post-it note and place them on the string in the approximate order that you want them in. What you're going to notice is trends, direction, a way to make things happen. Your mind is going to put these things together and see how this one goes with that one, and how when you do this, it helps this one out. Only if you see it that way are these kind of combinations, these kind of revelations going to happen for you. So put them up on that string, or use software for it. There's software. But I'm just talking about the simple, easy method that you can do right now. Just piece of string, put up your ideas and goals up there in the order you want them in. Now, you may have a string above that has, month, year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You may want to do that above it, and so that you can see a general timeline as far as years or months from now. But put them in the order that you want them. So maybe you want a new car within the next 5 months. Maybe you want a new house within the next year or two. Put those things on your timeline. By the way, you can always move them. They're just paper clipped or however you have them connected. And you're going to be changing things around. You're going to. But spend time with your timeline. How are these things going to work together? When do you want them? You get more laser focused, more ideas because you've done this. And by the way, if you want, you can spend time with me on this. Use that free business assessment consultation that I mentioned earlier. I'll mention it one more time. So I give a free 30-minute business consultation to anyone who asks for it, who's a portrait photographer. By the way, I have to limit it to portrait photographers because a lot of people take advantage of this, which I want. I'm encouraging that. But it means that I don't have time for everybody, and so I'm limiting it to portrait photographers. It doesn't matter where you live. It just means that you have an interest in making portrait photography an income source. That's really all I'm asking for the use of this particular thing. And of course, those of you who are watching the Portrait Profit Show, well, you're ideal for this. So business assessment consultation, and let me put that. Let's see. I'm going to once again put the address on here. I did it right at the beginning, but I'm going to do it again right now. In the comments. All right. So that should be popping up right now in your comments section. So if you want to any of the things that we've been talking about today, or any other time, price list, marketing, you can use this for. By the way, this is free once per year. So until I have no time for them anymore, but for right now, it's free once per year. And yes, of course, I have private sessions that I charge for. That's how I make an income with my classes and with my private sessions. So take advantage of that. Take that back off the screen. Next thing, after spending time with your timeline, is revisit your appreciation log. Now, wait a minute. He hasn't said anything about an appreciation log. What is that? Well, if you've watched previous shows of the Portrait Profit shows, you may have heard me talk about this because I do bring it up every once in a while. By the way, if you are one of those people who have heard me talk about the appreciation log, do me a favor in the comments, just write yes. Just write the word yes. So don't respond if you haven't heard of it before, because I'm about to tell you what it is. So your appreciation log. There are many times when we feel somewhat alone in our business. Yes, we've got people around us. Yes, we've got family. We've got some friends. We have some people that we've done business with. But there are still times where we have that alone feeling. During those times, it is beneficial if you have an appreciation log to look back at. This is just a list of the different things that someone has done that helped or inspired you. Directly, not indirectly. This is for things that are direct. So if someone commented something nice on a Facebook post, add it to your appreciation log. If someone said something that, you look great today and it made you feel good, put that on your appreciation log. By the way, if someone says you look great today, it's a compliment. If someone says, I like your shirt, it's a compliment. If someone says, I like your hair, it's a compliment. It's not a comparison to a different day. That's silly, guys. Every once in a while, you've come across these people who you give a compliment to, and they in their mind, they're thinking it's a comparison. And they're saying, what, do I not look good on other days? They're taking it as a negative. How is this even possible? I don't know. I think it's a weak mind or a tired mind that causes that to happen, because a healthy mind doesn't do that. A healthy mind sees compliments for compliments. A weak mind might not. So therefore, do something so that you aren't the one with the weak mind. And this is one of those things. Creating the purpose list, the things that the 11 things that are important in your life, creating that list, that's your sense of purpose. Spending time with your timeline. When are things going to happen? And the appreciation log. Writing down all the things that are important, that you're grateful for, that someone has done for you. Maybe they helped you out with something. For instance, just yesterday, Landers Photography School hosts the annual San Antonio Photography Tournament, and yesterday was the 10th annual. And we had, I think, 19 volunteers that were helping with this. And it's not something that most of the volunteers are helping with just that day alone. Nope, this takes months to put together. So that means the volunteers have been working on it for months. So appreciation log, these people are helpful. Of course they need to be on your appreciation log if this were you. By the way, I'll tell you real quick what the annual tournament was all about. So this is a fun tournament. It's not to decide who's the best in the area. This is just a diversion, just something fun to do. And the participants, there were about 50, showed up and in the morning, yesterday morning, and received a list of 15 categories. They brought their cameras along with them. They didn't know what the categories were going to be. They don't do this ahead of time. This is an instant gratification photographer's challenge. And so they got that list. They go out to onto that venue, the area, and create images, and they submit in as many of those categories as they want to. During a break period, which is for lunch, the judges are doing their thing, and once they're done, we start announcing the winners. And so all the winners have been announced. All $8,000 worth of prizes have been handed out, and everyone who got first, second, or third in each one of the categories got a certificate. It's all done. They have what they won, and it's over. It's not a popularity contest where you see how many likes you can get on Facebook. It's just a one-day event. And so that's what we were doing. But the bottom line is there were compliments shared. There were gifts given. There's lots of different things that were done that could be added to an appreciation log. Now, I know that's a big example. You don't have that necessarily today, but you have things. Nearly every day, somebody does something nice. It could be just holding a door open for you if you want to write something like that down. Whatever you feel, add to or create first if you don't have it, but add to your appreciation log. And if you want to, do bonus points, I'd say add one more category, one more column to it, and that's thank you note. Send them a thank you note. In fact, what I really recommend is that you do greeting cards from Digital Pro Lab. And just create the artwork, the image that's on the outside, and have these printed. It's just a digital press print product that Digital Pro Lab does, and use those as your thank you cards. You might do that for birthday cards. You might do that for anniversary cards. You may do that for Christmas cards. But I think you should do that at the very least for thank you cards, because many times throughout the year, someone does something that is worth a thank you note. So be the person who does it. You'll gain a lot in addition to them gaining a lot. So that's just one thing, that's something that I'd recommend. All right. That was revisit your appreciation log. Now we're moving on to a life that is fueled by purpose. Far too many wonderful photographers never achieve their dreams. In fact, it's estimated that 19 out of 20 never even reach profitability. And 16 of those 19 don't even know it. There is a high probability that you are one of the 16 who's not profitable and is not aware. It's pretty fascinating. During business assessment consultations, I've discovered this many times where someone thought, I'm doing fine, I'm doing well, but I want to do better. And so they said, well, let's look at where we're going, let's form a base, and then we can move from that. So we look at their numbers, and we determine very clearly that they're not profitable, and it is an eye-opener to them because they actually believed they were. Just because you charged $100 for something does not mean you now have $100 more than you had yesterday. There's a lot more that goes into it. We're not going into that today. But a lot of photographers never reach their dreams because they allow feelings and emotions to dictate their actions. They get excited by something and start doing it, and they get to things quickly because that's right. But you must do that with a narrowed down view that I call a filter, that you are looking through that filter of your goals, the things that you want out of life. This is just a belief filter. Every one of us has a belief filter that we see life through. And it's based on our experiences, things that people have told us that we believe, things that we've read. It's just based on a lot of things, but that's one of the major reasons why we all see things differently. Even if we're looking at exactly the same thing, our description of that thing is different because our belief filters are different. Our experiences are different. So stop getting upset when someone sees things from a different point of view. It's great that someone sees things from a different point of view. It's natural that people see things from a different point of view because they don't possess the same belief filter you do. Yours is no better than theirs. It's equivalent. It's better for you, but it isn't better for them. You just think that it is because you got your blinders up. All right. Some feel like they can't do something, so they don't even try. Or they try and fail. Maybe they just think that they're going to fail, or they think of all the different ways that they might fail. And then they feel like a failure. So they give up. But people with a purpose, those who've done what I've recommended today, people with a purpose, on the other hand, don't allow their emotions to get in the way of their success. They continue to head in the direction of their destination, even when they don't feel like it. They know that feelings are fleeting, and ultimately, it is their actions that determine their success. As a result, they continue moving forward, even when it's tough. They don't give up. They just keep going. People with a clear purpose are committed to achieving their dreams, no matter what. Does that make sense? If this is helping, do me a favor. Just write the word helping in the comments. Helping. If this is helping, just say helping, or it's helping, as it says in my notes below the title slide. If this is helping, if this is making sense, if this is resonating with you, if this is helping, write it's helping in the comments. Let me know. Cool. I'm looking at the comments, by the way. Ha ha ha. I appreciate that, and so will Amanda. Digital Pro Lab. All right. Good. A lot of comments. By the way, you guys are on one platform, so you only see others who are on your own platform. So there may not be very many, but I'm seeing 8 different platforms, and I'm seeing a lot of different comments. And so it does take me a little while to read through those. And I actually don't get a chance to read through all of them during the show, but I like to at least to see them. But I like seeing that. So true. Let's see. Daryl, I appreciate that. And Ashley. Good. I see some others, but that's good for now. So if what I'm sharing with you is resonating with you, if it's helping, right, it's helping, or just helping in the comments. So that way I know that it's doing something for you, that I'm not just here talking to myself. All right. So when you have defined your ideal life, and that's based in all those different categories, and I guess I could show you what, and that might be hard to see. I'm going to pull it out of there. So this is a handout that I give my students, and this is what we were talking about just a moment ago, the different categories. Is that in focus? It's supposed to focus on its own. That might be a little better. There we go. So those are the different categories that make up your ideal life. And you're just defining what each one of those are. You can do a screenshot of that if you want to, or come back to it later. But that's a handout that I give to my students who are taking a class that needs that. So when you've defined your ideal life, you have purpose because you have a clear objective in mind for everything that you do. In other words, you have defined where you're going. This is normally what I refer to as destination or destinations, but I usually just say it in the singular. This is your destination. So, armed with the knowledge of where you're heading, it's about being aware of your strengths and weaknesses and using your strengths to your advantage, and then seeking the strengths of others where you do have weaknesses. It could be just that you don't want to do something. That's in the weakness category somewhat. It depends. I actually further define that when I'm talking with my students. So, purpose by default continuously causes you to grow. You are naturally driven, and you improve in the direction that you're heading. You become more present in every moment. You're more mindful of your thoughts, your words, your actions. Having a destination causes you to be proud of the work that you do and the impact that it has on others. You're not forcing anything when you have a defined purpose. Dedication is just a fantastic byproduct. It's how you show up in the world. Now, having a purpose is your high-octane fuel. But it doesn't mean that things are going to be easy. It just means they're going to be easier and you're going to reach them faster. It doesn't mean that you won't experience overwhelm. There's a lot of things to do even when you do narrow your focus. What it means is that you will always be headed in the right direction and never wasting time doing things that are not beneficial. You get a laser focus and you become happier than you ever thought possible. Back to that analogy on the road, when you're going off into different directions, you follow the road that is a good road or it's leading to a good direction, but you're wandering aimlessly. And most of us begin by wandering aimlessly. We don't feel like that's the case, and we only know because hindsight's 20/20 once we get past all that and we look back at the things that we've done and how we could have done better. Not that we did it poorly. Nope, we probably did it very well. But a lot of times it's like that driving analogy where you get out on the road and you say, this is a good road. And you start heading from San Antonio to El Paso on I-10. It's a good road. And you wander aimlessly. You haven't defined where you're going. You're just out on the road because it looks good. And some point along the way, halfway to El Paso, you make up your mind and you decide, all right, I'm going to go to Houston. Not because I'm saying Houston's anything special. If you guys are here from Houston, Houston's fantastic. But I'm not saying anything about Houston. I'm just giving an example. If you decide halfway to El Paso that you've defined where you're going to go as Houston, it doesn't mean that you drove poorly on your way accidentally to El Paso. It doesn't mean that. You may have driven very well, not gotten a single ticket. But if you would have defined where you were going when you began, you would still have had to drive. You would still have had to deal with traffic. But you would have gotten to your destination so much faster without the extra gas and extra cost and extra time. So do these things that I've mentioned today and use this high-octane fuel that you have of purpose. All right. I hope you've enjoyed what I've been sharing with you today about purpose being your high-octane fuel. I want to share with you some upcoming classes. There's 2 more this month. We have Portrait Profits is every single Monday, and I hope you add it to your calendar so you don't ever miss it. Every single Monday at noon, with the exception of the second Tuesday of every month where we do it at 6:30, and we have a panel so that you can see things from different point of view, not just mine. So what we have coming up as far as upcoming shows, this coming Monday, you can. I'm going to put that up on the screen. This coming Monday is the photographer competitor analysis, and this is. There are good ways and not so good ways to compare. But there are times when it's totally appropriate to compare as long as it's done with the right purpose in mind. If you've defined your purpose, the things that we talked about today, then doing a competitor analysis can have benefit if it's done correctly. And so we're going to talk about what that means. I've got a form for you to use so that you can do a competitor analysis that isn't going to be wasting your time and taking you down the wrong road. For instance, what they charge is irrelevant. What other photographers charge is irrelevant. Photography is not a commodity. It's a luxury item. So therefore, what other people charge is of no relevance. If you're looking at what other photographers charge in order to figure out what you're supposed to be charging, I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. But don't worry about it. I can help. The right way is to define what's right for you. The prices that you have are just a tool, another one of the many tools that you use for a profitable photography business. And you may say, well, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love photography. Well, do you want to lose money on the deal? Because if you do, that's fine. Form a charity, a 501c3. Do it right. Don't lose money just by saying, I'm not trying to do this for the money, so it's okay if I lose money. Really? Is that what you mean? Because if you truly mean that, do a 501c3. No matter what it is you're doing, do it right. Right is defined by you, but you have to define what the end result is to even know what right is. Pricing is defined by you because it's just a tool, one of the many tools that you have for your business. If your prices don't cause you to reach the goals that you have in life, then you must make an adjustment because that tool's not working for you. It might be the perfect tool for someone else, but it's not working for you. So you've got to change it. And yes, I can help you with that if you need help. That's what I do. I love doing it. And it'll save you years. I guarantee you, if you are looking at your prices, or if you're basing your prices on what other photographers are charging, you need to get with me now and shave years off of your evolution on how to make photography work. I'm not exaggerating. I have worked with photographers who've been doing this 10, 20, 30 years, who've just been doing it on their own, going it alone. And then when we look at their numbers, there's some easy changes that we can make, seriously easy changes that turn things around instantly. And they wasted 10 or 20 years doing what they're doing. Doesn't have to be that way. We're going to be talking about what to look for in other photographers to help make yours better in the photographer competitor analysis next week. And then on Halloween, 2 weeks from today, we're going to be talking about dealing with unusual situations. What an appropriate topic for Halloween, right? Yep, we are going to be doing the show, rain or shine, no matter what the holiday is. We are doing the Portrait Profit show. Halloween's no different. So this is not about ghosts or weird, unusual, out of this world stories. I've not seen E.T. I might have seen a ghost. I don't know. But that's not what this is going to be about. These are going to be about dealing with unusual situations. Now, every one of us has dealt with unusual situations that are one-offs, that are just one-time kind of thing. And this is more along those lines where you don't really have them very often, but you have to deal with them. So this is how to prepare for any situation. Just how to be mentally prepared for any situation. Dealing with unusual situations. Put it on your calendar. I hope to see you at that one. I hope to see you at all of them. All right. I hope you've enjoyed today's presentation of purpose as our high-octane fuel. If you have, do me a favor and share this with others. Because when you share this with others, you are actually uplifting other photographers as well. Anything that you're doing, really, if you're taking something that you've learned from me or someone else, doesn't matter the source. If you make a change, others are noticing. Because those photographers that are looking to other photographers to get their price list are looking at you. And so when they see you doing it right, they emulate that. But they don't know what right is. They assume that since you're there, it must be right. So make it so. I really appreciate you guys being here today. I like comments like this. I'm going to put this one up, Alyssa. And so I feel like you're talking directly to me. I actually really like that kind of a comment. I hear it every once in a while. I don't hear it every single time. But when I hear this one, I relate to this kind of a comment because it actually feels like that. These different pieces and parts. Wow, yeah, ooh, I can make that change. Man, is he... Are we having like a private session here? Has he been talking? Did he research me in order to come up with these topics? Okay, I get it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Alyssa. So I want to invite you to the next one. I want you to share this with others, and I want to say thank you for investing your time. So for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography through helpful information, step-by-step processes, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Be here every Monday to experience a different way of looking at the business side of photography. Thank you for investing your time here at the Portrait Profit Show. Bye-bye for now.